That's kind of a cool thing about Full Draw. I think a non-hunter could come and appreciate the show. It's more of an event. Instead of going like to a movie night, you're going to more of a show. It's almost like not a rock concert. I'm not that great on the stage. Everyone likes a chance to win something, but it was more about giving back to the organization. Our fans vote on their viewer's choice. And we tally those votes, and the guys at Outback Outdoors won for their film Too Close for Comfort 2.0. We like people being excited, cheering, laughing, crying, and rooting for the hunters when they do have success during the film. To be a filmmaker, you don't have to have $20,000 in camera equipment. I mean, it's awesome, but you can have a phone in your pocket and you can put together a cool film. Check us out and find when the film tour is coming near you. We're kicking off shortly here in May.
Y'all ready for your dose of flyover state spirit? Straight from the concrete jungle? Well, put down your latte and pull on your boots. It's time for Living Country in the City.
All right, well, stop saying all that horrible stuff about you-know-who.
Oh,
we're recording now.
We're recording now. Okay, I'll clean it up.
Yeah, man, all the cursing.
Yeah, it's tough.
Geez, I mean, I thought you were a nice guy, and then you're talking all this mad crap about all of these well-known industry people.
Yeah, well, there's rumors that get floated around in whatever industry we're in.
we were on the drive out to the mule deer thing last night, and I can't remember. We were just talking crap about one of our friends that was showing up late.
Yeah.
And I said there's a couple people in the back of our truck. And I made some comment, just like talking crap about him. I'm like, something about like him having a girlfriend on the side, just being an ass. Uh-huh. And all of a sudden, both of the people in the back like perked up. They're like, "Wait, what?" and I look at my buddy. I'm like, "And that's how you start a rumor."
Nice.
Just to clarify, this is not
This
gonna
is
happen.
not true. Yeah. No. Cool. Yeah. So you guys made it to the
Mule Deer Foundation dinner last night, but and then. Here we are, first podcast of the weekend, Thursday, hanging out here at the Western Hunting and Conservation Expo.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Absolutely. Before we get started really quick, just want to give a big shout out and thank you to Sawyer Products for their support of the podcast. They've been supporting Living Country in the City for quite a while now. I think we're coming up on almost a year. No, I think it's past a year at this point. But huge shout out to them. Big thank you. Make sure you check them out at Sawyer.com. But I am here, Western Hunting and Conservation Expo, with I have to ask, how do I pronounce the last name? Because I pronounce it. I've never heard you say it.
It's Helmich.
Helmich.
German.
Okay.
It's probably more like Helmich.
Helmich.
But
so I have been pronouncing it right in my head, but I didn't want to massacre it.
Yeah, no, we get the Helmich all the time.
Helmich.
But it is a k for the ch at the end.
Well, I'm here in the Full Draw Film Tour booth with Mr. Jade Helmich.
There you go. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yes. This has been a podcast that's about a year and a half in the making too. We've been talking for a while.
Yeah, I think we've done 2 in the past, but they didn't actually happen.
We're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna do it, and then all of a sudden it's like, what happened?
Yeah, we'll see you next time, and then no, we're doing it now, and it's awesome. Yeah,
awesome. We got it sorted. But so I always like to start at the podcast just with a little bit of personal stuff about yourself.
Okay.
How did you kind of get your start in hunting and the outdoors, and then we can talk about the tour.
Yeah, no, I was pretty fortunate growing up in Idaho, and having a family, and my dad he was raised hunting as well by his father, and just it was kind of some stories along those lines as he was able to take me on my first hunts where he went on his first hunts with his dad. And so from the beginning we just hunted deer and elk and turkeys and everything else you can in Idaho. Wealth of opportunity, and he was pretty into archery elk hunting. His dad was mostly a rifle hunter. My dad kind of found that there was more opportunity if he picked up a bow and got out ahead of the Orange Army. get out and chase some elk around in the fall and September. So that just translated to me going along, and some of my first memories of hunting are with them and being in the woods, and you're supposed to whisper, everything's quiet all the time, and the first time I ever talked in the woods was full on like a kid, like, and everyone's, oh, shh, quiet, we're hunting. I'm like, oh, so
there's deer, where is it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't see. No, it was fun. So having my father and even my mom was into hunting, so having them mentor me in the outdoors is what we grew up doing, camping, hunting, fishing, just living the lifestyle. So I naturally loved it, and when I went to college in fisheries resources, what I got a degree in, so I was in the biology world and conservation type stuff. Graduated with a fisheries degree. Always was into kind of photography and art at some level, but I went down the conservation biology path. I worked as a fish biologist for, I think it's like 9 years out of college, which was fun though. It got being out in the field all the time, so I was out in the wild, enjoying doing work on public lands and all that. It was fun, but there was always a draw, or something was like I needed to do something more. Being into photography and filmmaking, I always had filmed with like a handy cam our hunts and stuff that my buddies and I were doing, and made jokes about our production companies and all this stuff. And at one point, I was still working as a biologist, and I was kind of getting serious about making more legitimate films. It was still early, though. I think some people came out with some stuff. I'm like, dude, I can do that. That doesn't look that hard. And then with you start coming up, brainstorming ideas of like, the first thing you do is you want to name yourself before you've even done anything. It's like kind of opposite what you probably should do. You should make a film and then come up with a name. But we're like, let's call it Full Draw Films or something like that. So then I jump on the computer and type that in to see what pops up, and this cool page pops up called the Full Draw Film Tour. I'm like bummed out, like, dang it, someone beat us to the name. And come full circle, I end up running the Full Draw Film Tour. So, yeah, here we are. How I got here, though, is I got burnt out with the biologists and end of the world, and decided I wanted to become a cameraman and film some TV shows, and
there you go.
Made some right choices and educated myself with YouTube and Google universities. Did a couple of short courses and ended up working, probably 3-4 years as freelance. I had a small production company, but did a lot of work for the Outback Outdoors guys. Also filmed for Sheep Shape when it was on, and some other editing projects here and there for different production companies, but kind of did all facets of that, photo work, filming, of course, and jumping in and editing the full shows and handing them off to the network.
So how long have you been now running Full Draw?
I took it over in spring of 2016, so we did full 2 years under the helm, I guess. Very successful years, in my opinion. Happy with how everything's gone. We've grown. I think the first year we did like 36-ish dates that we host. Last year we did 48, so it was a big bump. And of course we're looking to do more again here in 19 when we kick it off.
Nice. So for those that don't know, what is Full Draw Film Tour? Just the umbrella explanation.
Okay, it's an event, if you will. It's not. So what we do is we host a film night, a show at a local venue. It can be a movie theater, a concert house. We even host shows in archery shops or breweries. But the film tour gets submissions from independent filmmakers like you, Sam, you could make a film, submit it to us. We're going through that process right now. We already have our submissions, and then we send it out to a selection panel. They vote on their favorite films, and then we select like 8 to 10, and we put it into the show. We have partners give us a bunch of gear to give away, awesome partners like Vortex Optics, Hoyt Archery, First Light Gear, tons of them. But we I don't know the dollar amount that we give away at every show, but it's substantial.
I was going to say it's significant from the one I went to. There was quite a few prizes that were.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many shows are there over the course of the year?
Last year in 2018, we did 48 that we host, and that's what you saw. We came to LA essentially, and that was the first adventure down into that world. But we needed to get there
into that chaos.
There's lots of hunters in the area, and even if you're not a hunter, that's kind of a cool thing about Full Draw. I think a non-hunter could come and appreciate the show. They might have their opinions initially about who we are as hunters, outdoorsmen, but they could come enjoy the show. The films some people ask the question, well, why would I come to the film tour when I can watch the Outdoor Channel or Sportsman Channel or something? But the films that our filmmakers submit tell a different story, and they're free to do what they want, but they're more engaging, artistic, if you will. Kind of cinematic styles can be mixed with a similar style that you do see on TV, but it's a whole adventure that they can share. There can be camaraderie, humor. There's sometimes tears are shed at the show, but we're pretty proud of the filmmakers. It's all about them. They make the show what it is, and we just run with it. It's usually like a 2 to 3 hour event with our intermission with a big gear giveaway. I mean, we give 2 bows away at every show, an adult bow and a kid's bow. So it's a big draw, and people are excited.
No pun intended. Hey,
yeah.
Hey.
That
was bad.
Our vendors, or partners sometimes set up booths at the show. You can check out some of their products. It's more of an event. Instead of going like to a movie night, you're going to more of a show. It's almost like not a rock concert. I'm not that great on the stage, but it's fun. People like enjoying it, and it's a family event. I mean, we give away kids stuff. They all take something home. Kids like watching the hunts. Mom and dad enjoy it as well. So
I do love that aspect. I love that it can be like a whole family thing, and I love what you said about it being an opportunity. Like, yeah, you may not bring, we were talking about the vegan free shirt earlier, and it may not be the place you bring your super anti-hunting vegan friend to. Maybe not, but that buddy that's not anti-hunting, but he's not a hunter. Like, I actually tried to get a couple of my buddies to come out. Unfortunately, they were all working, but they were super bummed out because they've asked me about hunting several times, and I've wanted a good opportunity to introduce them to what it is in a good way. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. You guys have been asking me about this. Come on out. And all of them were like, I'm working tonight. Can't.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate, but
I do think it is, like, I mean, as long as your hardcore anti-vegan friend, if you will, was somewhat open-minded to at least engage in conversation and be exposed to it, I think it might portray hunting in a different image than maybe that they have.
Well, I was going to say, I think for the person that may be vegan or something but just doesn't understand hunting, that kind of person you can have a conversation with, I think they would respond well to something like this.
Yeah, and that's, I think, it's the natural progression for them. Like, they're vegan because of slaughterhouses and factory farming, if you will, and if they could be exposed to the food aspect and procuring your own meat, knowing where it comes from, and taking care of it. And that's obviously a big part of the hunting community these days.
Oh, yeah.
it's not the only part. We all love the chase, and the primal instincts that it brings out in us is pretty amazing as well.
You can't take away any of those pieces of the experience.
No.
People like to try and narrow it down. I mean, and especially people that don't understand hunting and want to ask you about it. They're like, well, do you hunt for a trophy or do you hunt for meat?
Yeah.
And I'm like, both. And like 9 other things. And then I proceed to go on a 20-minute long rant, and then I never get a second date. Wait, what? Yeah, that's happened before. But, you can't take away, I mean, yeah, some people just don't consider that, but I mean, you really can't take away any of those pieces from a true hunter. We do it for wildlife management. Like, that is an important part. Like, I keep that in mind. I think about that.
Definitely.
Because I am passionate about that animals. It's the great contradictory statement we make as hunters is we're passionate about the animals we want to kill,
Yeah, definitely.
I love the meat. Like, I got my first deer this year, and he was young, little, like, probably, 1 year old, 1 year old spike.
Yeah.
But man, does he taste good.
And he's your trophy too.
Oh my gosh, he's a huge trophy for me. Like, I could shoot the biggest buck in the world and I'd be proud of it right now. But I will never be more proud of anything than that first deer I shot.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm the same way. I started with rifle hunting and killed my first animals that way for quite a few years. I was a 90%er for a long time, not filling tags with archery gear. And finally, when those happened, those are the trophies you're most proud of. It's got it done, finally. But yeah, no, it's...
you take away that adventure, you take away the meat, like, it's not the same experience for, I feel like, a lot of true hunters. And, yeah, there's other hunts you go on. Like, most dudes hunting coyotes are not keeping the meat.
No.
I know some dudes that do, and I'm going to try it one of these days. But, there's different experiences, but you can't really just... I think it's simplistic to try and narrow it down to just one piece of that. And these films show so many of those aspects.
Exactly, and that's... The filmmakers tell different messages in each film, and I hope they're well received, and they are at the show. It's fun to see it. Other parts of the tour, we do fundraising for, like last night, you saw we raised a lot, or not we, the Full Draw fans are who raised the money. We just provide them the avenue, but Hunt of a Lifetime Foundation, hopefully a couple kids are going to go on some epic hunts this fall as ultimately the hunt of a lifetime for them.
And I did an episode, I'll link to it in the show notes page, but I did an episode with Donnie Drake about Hunt of a Lifetime.
Okay, yeah, definitely tune into that episode.
Yeah, it's
worth
checking out.
Great organization. We're glad to help procure funds for them to keep on doing what they do. And
I mean, that was no, like, amount of chump change right there. That was, what was it, 35,000 almost?
Yeah, over 34,000 that we raised at the shows. Full Draw fans donated. We did a kind of a cool fundraiser. You should put a show link I'll get it to you, for the Hunt of a Lifetime segment that we did.
Okay.
It has young Austin, that was one of the hunters from 2017 probably. But the young man put together an amazing prayer, but he had some messages in that really helped pay it forward ultimately to other kids. By his message got all the fans at the tour to raise money. We sold a deck of cards essentially for a chance to win a Benchmade knife, and all those fans also were entered for a stalker stick bow, and we gave those prizes. But everyone likes a chance to win something, but it was more about giving back to the organization.
It's like the prize is almost a token at that point.
Exactly.
It's about giving back. It's just kind of cool to get something too.
Exactly.
And nobody's gonna complain about a Benchmade knife.
No, not at all. Yeah, and that's before I even was involved, I mean, back to when I Googled Full Draw films, and it's like, oh, this is kind of cool, actually. And I went to my first show as a fan, and at the time, they were paired with Hunt of a Lifetime then as well. And I was like, this is awesome. These are cool films to give some awesome gear away, and it's for a good cause for this organization. And it has always stayed. We always have raised money for nonprofits over the years. We worked with Wishes for Warriors for a few years there. We're helping Hunt of a Lifetime again now. So yeah, we really are proud to do that and be able to give back, and as well as put on a good fun show.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about this year's show. Tell me about some of the folks that submitted films, and I know you kind of do an awards ceremony at the very end here.
Yeah, well, last night we did our awards ceremony for the 2018 tour. We're actually sitting here watching some of the films play. Christy Titus just smoked a giant whitetail. But yeah, so anyone can submit a film, and last year we had 10 films. It was pretty heavy on elk. It's hard not to make an exciting film with archery elk hunting, screaming in your face. I know you're still trying. And
that's the most romantic hunt in the world. Like, mule deer are amazing. Like, I love mule deer.
Yeah.
Like, bear, moose, whatever it is. But elk, it's hands down, no contest, the most romantic
They're
hunt.
so vocal, and I like how Joe Rogan puts it. It's like something out of the Lord of the Rings. It comes screaming at you, blood-curdling screams. And, yeah, no, the elk films always translate well. They're pretty exciting. There's usually some mule deer films, some whitetail stuff. Last year there was a pretty epic bear hunt. So last night we said we did our awards. We have a best moment. One of the films called Longbow. This guy builds his own bow, and they go on a bear hunt. And ultimately, the kill sequence scene is it's amazing. So there's a couple filmmakers out of Minnesota, Luke Cruz and Matt Wetterling. They put together a film, and it won the best moment, just the way that kill shot goes down. You'll have to check out the film.
Yeah.
I'll put all of our past film tours are available online to stream, so we can put some links for that for you to tune into. We also gave a Filmmaker's Choice Award. We have the filmmakers vote for their favorite film, so it's the opportunity for their peers to choose. And it was pretty cool to see Jason Matzinger won that for his film Both Sides of the Fence. He had a powerful message about hunters uniting and not asking if it was killed on public land or not. It doesn't matter as hunters where we hunt. It's just a matter that we are united as hunters, be it if you're hunting public land or on the other side of the fence and hunting private. So he won the best film. It was Jason and his crew does great work in cinematography and putting stories together. And then we also have, during the show season, our fans vote on their viewer's choice. At the end of every film or every show, they text their favorite vote in for the film, and we tally those votes. And the guys at Outback Outdoors won for their film Too Close for Comfort 2.0. And as you know, Sam, it is a pretty entertaining film. It drew the most laughs of any of the films for sure. I
mean, you put Dave and Trevin together, like, come on. That's just comedy gold right there.
Yeah, it was a sequel to the show or the film tour previous year. They had a film, and it just rolls off, and it's a good sequel because it's picks up right where they left off. They just hassle each other the whole time.
Well, I remember I was confused at first because I'd seen the film from last year, and they have a few like throwback shots.
Yeah, they kind of updated people that maybe hadn't seen the previous one.
And it was kind of weird, like with how it kind of led in. Like I kind of missed some of the first part of the film, And I missed that the first time I watched it, I missed that these were like throwbacks from the last hunt. And I was like, wait a second. Have I already seen this? And I was sitting there and watching. I'm like, I know what's about to happen. I'm like, am I clairvoyant or am I crazy right now? And then it took me a minute. But, yeah, no, I was really happy to see it
was cool. There was like 3 to 4 films that really ran neck and neck most of the year on the votes. I kind of kept an eye on it just out of curiosity. The year before, a film just ran away with it. But this year it came down to under 100 votes for them to win. So it was pretty cool.
Your vote matters.
Your vote does matter. So, yeah, it's fun. I mean, we do a kind of a fun thing at the end of the night. They text in to vote, and then we use that. We call one winner from those texts wins. I think last year we did like a First Light apparel package that they were able to or use a gift card, and so that was kind of cool. But yeah, so we're in the selection process right now. We just sent out, I think I already said this, but we sent out an email to all our panel that votes on the films, and they'll choose them, and we'll announce in a couple weeks here, probably close to when this airs. I don't know what your plan is, but we'll be announcing the 2019 films and all of our dates, hopefully kind of in the same push there. But yeah, it's kind of exciting. I'm excited for the film lineup. It's the hard part is actually narrowing it down. Even doing it on the drive down here, sending that out, but I'm glad that it goes to a panel that votes. It'd be way too much pressure.
Just you sitting there chilling, being like, yeah, I like this one.
Yeah.
And then that way you also don't have hurt feelings coming.
Yeah, hurt feelings or like people like, oh, I can't believe you chose that one.
My film was better than that one.
Yeah, no. So it's cool. They usually pick the ones that I ultimately would just. I have my favorites that I like, but there's some good films. There's some cool stuff. I won't let any secrets out. You're just gonna have to tune in for when we launch that, and then come check out some dates when we come to a venue near you. Hopefully, I am looking at adding some more. We kind of did our first push to the Midwest and East Coast last year, and really California we hadn't done any shows, so it was the new frontier last year as well.
Yeah.
We did 3 shows last year. We did previous year we did actually a Sacramento and a Fresno, but LA was new last year.
Yeah,
so.
LA was the new one. I will admit I was a little disappointed in the energy from my fellow SoCal people. I think that's the tough part about doing it during the week, though.
Yeah, we are.
Because LA people don't travel.
You're not in that area anymore, but maybe you'll have to make a token appearance. We are doing it on a Saturday.
Okay.
Is the plan right now. And it does take – the first year is people don't know what to expect, so they might have seen our ad or a poster and they'll just go check it out, but – usually the second and third year, it's a big bump in attendance and energy because they realize what it's about. It's not going to a movie, hush-hush. We like people being excited, cheering when the film ends, giving the filmmakers props, but then laughing, crying, and rooting for the hunters when they do have success during the film. So it is fun. Yeah, it takes a year and people realize what it's all about, and they invite their friends, family, and everyone.
So a little late obviously for this year, but say someone's hunting and they're like, I'd love to submit a film for Full Draw Film Tour. I'd love to put in my entry. Maybe it's their first year doing it, or maybe it's someone that's put in an entry before, didn't get selected, and they're like, I really want to up my game. What are some of the, qualities or qualifications you look for as you guys are selecting a film?
Yeah, for sure. Well, being a Full Draw Film Tour, the first thing is that we like it to be bow hunting related in some form. We don't limit that stuff I mean, we do choose just archery films, but there could be crossbows. Even like I'm always waiting for that film that comes. It's just about archery and shooting. Mm-hmm. There could be a film about that doesn't even have a hunt in it. But on those lines, we
hint to somebody listening,
right? Yeah, let's see that submission come in. But
I mean, there would actually be a cool film. I think somewhere it would almost be like it's not about the hunt; it's about all the prep up to a hunt.
Yeah, for sure.
Ends before the hunt even happens. Like if it was done in the right way, that could be a really interesting story.
Yeah, and story is what ultimately is well received at the show and gets chosen as a official selection. You can have the best kill shot in the world, but there needs to be some kind of story, some content there. And when filmmakers ask me what we're looking for, or they ask what's the best camera to get in the film tour with, it doesn't matter what you're filming with, but if you can share a great story that has, like Outback did, there's good humor, camaraderie, people like to laugh. Lots of times if it's people overcame something, if it's something in their life prior to the hunt, they're able to walk again or something like that and then go hunting, stuff like that relates well. But on the filmmaking aspect, you do need to know a thing or two about a camera, and most of these filmmakers are self-taught. Jump on YouTube, find someone else that you like their style, and learn how to get those shots. There's tons of stuff out there on YouTube, and good stuff. All of our films are available. They can watch them, find the style that they like, try to emulate it, and then make it your own. And use YouTube and Google to learn how to run a camera. You can obviously just hit record and auto, but to try to make it a little more, have a look that people are going to be drawn to and get somewhat cinematic. And it doesn't take the highest end camera to do that. Sam, you're running DSLRs to take photos and video as well. The entry point for DSLRs or mirrorless systems now are pretty low. You can, I always...
Especially if you're willing to buy used.
Yeah, jump on eBay. Once you find a camera, and a Canon 70D or older 60D, or a Sony like the 6300 or 6500 with an external microphone that records good audio, you could jump on eBay or Craigslist, whatever, find a used one that's still good, and be making a film for under $500. If you found the right deals.
I invested, my camera, my DSLR, I invested some change in it. It's definitely a little bit higher.
You can dump a lot of money.
But another place to look is Amazon.
Yeah.
They have some incredible deals on refurbished items, and you can buy aftermarket warranties with them. On my road trip after I bought this camera, my lens got stuck and basically effectively stopped working. Through nothing I did, I was able to just return it.
The warranty from Amazon?
Well, funny enough, it was still within the return window.
Oh.
Because it was a 3-week road trip. I'd bought it literally like a week before that.
Nice.
So I got home, I had 2 days left, and so I filled out the return paperwork. I said, hey, it's not working, screwed up. Sent me a brand new lens. Like 2 weeks later, I had one.
Awesome.
And, I got a nice higher-end lens. I got the 5D Mark III body.
Yep.
Got it all off of Amazon, all refurbished, and I think I spent a little over $1,000.
Yeah,
which you're looking at camera equipment
for
that's
a 5D and
pretty...
some lenses. That's a good system for sure. And I did the same thing actually. I wanted a new Sony. Of course, it's hard. I had to pick between almost the filmmaking version and the photo version. Although they both do both. And now they do have some newer ones that are very good at both.
That's what I'm a little bit bummed out about this, because these aren't the best for video.
Yeah, you can do a lot with them for video, and they kind of were pioneers in the we're looking at a Canon 5D. They were kind of the pioneers for the whole DSLR filmmaker movement. It's just if you're looking at like slow motion, doing higher frame rate stuff, and they're still just 1080. But
to be honest, for most of the video stuff I don't do a ton. I'm still figuring out the whole hunting thing, let alone filming a hunt. I actually left mine at home, but I use GoPros.
Yeah, no.
I mean, yeah, you can invest $1,200, whatever. You can get a full Steadicam, a couple of GoPro 5 Blacks.
Yeah.
You can, and I mean, you can record with those in 4K at like super high frame rates at this point.
No, and the point of view cameras have came a long ways. You can I like using them when I was filmmaking as secondary angles, and even like sometimes as a primary on a hunter's head if you don't have a cameraman with them. So it's
a quality set it and forget it camera.
Yeah, exactly. It gets the shot. And I threatened to do a submission of my own at some point and film it with an iPhone. Honestly, I mean, the cameras that they have are pretty amazing. I mean, to be a filmmaker, you don't have to have $20,000 in camera equipment. I mean, it's awesome. But you can have a phone in your pocket and you can put together a cool film. You just learn how to watch some films, see what they're doing. Big stuff is getting quality audio. It's nothing worse than watching something and it's cutting in and out.
And it's just like...
Yeah, lots of wind noise. So if you are going to invest some money, I would lean towards the audio side. I mean, getting a good shotgun mic that mounts on a camera. The same mic will mount and plug into your phone as well. And then if you do want to step up the next levels to get like lavalier mics that can clip on to a guy so you can hear what he's saying when he is whispering. It's not super critical, but it is nice.
Yeah. You can invest. It's one of those things you can invest as much or as little as you want. You know, and that's one of the important things about learning your equipment is, two different people can be using the same equipment and make them do completely different things because
for sure.
This one person studied it, worked it, used it, and has figured out how to do little tricks and stuff to make up for the fact that they don't have as much gear. Another person that doesn't know their equipment as well may need a lot more gear to get that same effect, and then they're not even probably using that to its full potential.
Exactly. And then, like, on the flip side, or you could have someone with $20,000 in equipment that someone with their phone or a $500 handy cam could make a better film than them. It's about the storytelling again. And that's I want to still learn more about storytelling and go to like some kind of class, or I'm sure there's stuff online about storytelling, but
yeah, and I mean it's one of those things to where you can have the highest quality film in the world, but without a story, nobody's going to watch it.
Yeah.
You can have the best story in the world and have such a terrible quality that people also won't watch it.
Yeah, if it's not told well.
But you can still have something with just barely acceptable quality, but an awesome story, and people gravitate towards it. So, if you have to err on one side or the other, make sure you've got that story.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a story in everything. It's just a matter of how you capture it and tell it. It could just be a mashup of a bunch of awesome encounters with some animals, but there's some kind of a story there. It's just a matter of being creative and pulling it out of the footage and telling it. It's a true art form. And I think that's some of what sets the Full Draw Film Tour apart from going and watching it on television. You're coming to see a story. We don't have restrictions with commercial space being there has to be a commercial break here and there. Filmmakers are completely free to do with they have their 10-15 minutes.
So actually, what are the requirements for a submission?
For a Full Draw submission?
The technical requirements here.
It just needs to be high def footage that was captured.
So no VHS cameras?
What's VHS? I don't know. Are you older than me? No. No, I mean, well, if it's VHS, you could find a way to get it on digital aspect or digital media, and probably make a pretty cool footage or film with it. I was talking to, it's funny, a filmmaker that'd been filming stuff for a long time, and he actually packed cameras around that you plugged the VHS full size. Yep. What were they, like 9 by 4 inches or something? Plug those into the camera. He carried cameras around like that on hunts. And we're complaining about having to carry a small DSLR mirrorless.
I'm sitting there weighing my GoPro.
Yeah.
I'm like,
how can I shave
should I take
some ounces?
1 or 2?
So, no, back to the requirements though is timelines. There's kind of a wheelhouse of like 12 minutes. It seems to be a good time frame. We've had films in the tour as short as like 7 to 8 minutes. If you can tell a good story in that time, it's maybe more or well received at that time slot. But last year we had some that were pushing the 15-minute mark. If you submit something longer than that, and if it can keep the viewer's attention and at a high level, it can be longer. But we like to keep it that 12 to 15 minutes. Other requirements, I guess, that film cannot have been seen, and by that I mean you can't pull your YouTube film that's been online for 2 years or even a week. If it's got some views, it won't be accepted. It can't be in another event, like another film tour or festival. Sometimes we make exceptions for the one-off event, or filmmakers do like to host their own movie night, and we'll work with you on that kind of stuff. But part of the draw of the Full Draw Film Tour is that it's first time seeing stuff. So when it comes to your town, you're seeing something new that hasn't been released yet. Yeah,
it's not something that you've been watching for. And that's an important thing to get people out.
It's fun. I don't want people to come and sit down and be like, "Oh, I saw this a couple weeks ago on online,
so and so's YouTube channel or whatever it is." But
I'm trying to think if there's any other requirements. We just like high quality audio and video.
So bow hunting,
anywhere
in 10 to 15 minute range. Whatever it takes you to tell that story in as concise of a time as possible.
Yep. And never
HD
been
video.
Seen. Yep.
Never
HD.
Been seen. How are submissions
formats like text?
How does somebody I made my video, how do I submit?
When we do a call for submissions, we have our form. It's probably still live right now. We actually do leave it up in case people hear this and have something they want to submit or work on something. Just go to fulldrawfilmtour.com. There's a submit film page, and there's a form. Just fill out the form with your name, address type stuff, and then there's a link that you can put a YouTube video link in.
Okay.
There's a trick to make it unlisted. So when you set up your video or your film on YouTube, check the unlisted box, and then no one can find it except people that you send that link to. We also filmmakers use Vimeo. It's kind of another YouTube-like platform for filmmakers. You can upload your film on Vimeo, send us a link, and then there's also a spot to put a password and send us the password. And if anyone has any questions, they can just shoot us an email or a message on Instagram, Facebook, kind of on all the social platforms.
So speaking of that, where are we looking? We got fulldrawfilmtour.com.
fulldrawfilmtour.com. We are on Instagram. That's where we're most active, and that's at Full Draw Film Tour. And then same for Facebook.
Pretty much just search Full Draw Film Tour, and you guys will pop up.
Yeah, we'll pop up. And if you do, you could jump on the website, sign up for our email list if you want to be notified where the tour is coming close to you. We're able to do some fancy stuff with some emails, and if a show is going to be within a certain distance of you, you will get an email from us. So
nice.
tune into that. We'll be releasing some trailers and some new films for the 2019 tour in the next couple weeks.
Heck yeah.
So,
all right. So as we're winding down here, I always like to finish up with, if somebody came up to you and said, hey, man, my buddy brought me to the tour or whatever. I saw these films. This is awesome. I'm feeling inspired. I want to do this. But maybe they're concerned they don't have the background or the resources to get into hunting. What words of wisdom or advice would you give that person?
So are they a hunter or
maybe someone that's never hunted before?
Okay. I would say find, some like-minded people that maybe are hunting or are into it or want to get into it. There's lots of guys out there doing cool stuff. Check out what they are doing. Obviously everyone's got partners. You don't have to spend the most money and get geared. Find someone local that is into it already. That could, there are mentor programs out there. I don't know of what those are right now, but I actually just had a talk with someone earlier this morning. He is starting something along those lines to have a community where new hunters can find information that is going to steer them in the correct direction as well. Mm-hmm. So find maybe a local club. I know there's lots of archery clubs. If you went to the Full Draw Film Tour, you're probably going to be inspired by archery. So go to a club or a pro shop.
It's hard not to watch one of these films and want to go buy a bow.
Yeah, not want to go buy a bow. Maybe you'll be lucky enough and win a bow.
There you go.
But go to your local archery shop, and those guys know what they're doing. They'll help you. You can tell them what you have to spend. If they don't have something in your price range, they could tell you some good bows to look for used. Pick up a bow, just start shooting. Target archery is fun. I love it. That's
maybe make a film about your story, learning how to shoot.
Make a film about the process, where you started.
There's your working title right there.
Yeah. Make sure you give Sam and I credit for this one, though.
Absolutely. We want to be in the Instagram post. We want to be in the credits rolling at the end.
Right. And then if they want to film it and document it as well, just jump into it. Find any camera that you can afford, even if it's just your phone. Just start documenting things, put it together. Just do it. Don't feel that there's anything holding you back. Just get out there, find people that want to do it with you, or if there's not, just do it solo if that's your thing.
Yep.
But get out there and do it. You're a good example yourself.
Find a way.
Yeah.
You got to go in with realistic expectations, especially if you're going in solo, but find a way. There's no greater teacher than experience.
Yeah. So. Exactly. And you don't have to go to the top and hunt elk right off the bat. Unless you're in a state that has that readily available, go find somewhere with hogs or something that's a target-rich environment. So it's
somewhere you can see a lot of action. Elk is probably not the best choice for your first time.
Yeah, if you just more want the adventure, it's a great one to jump into. Go carry your bow around in the woods for a while, see some cool country, some animals, nature. It's pretty neat.
Heck yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for taking the time, hopping on. Glad we finally got to chat.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it again. We'll see you on the tour this year.
Absolutely. Maybe a couple of times, depending on where I'm at.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome. And, yeah, for the viewers or the listeners, check us out and find when the film tour is coming near you. We'll be kicking off shortly here in May.
There we go.
Awesome.
All right, y'all, that'll do it for episode 94 of Living Country in the City. Make sure y'all check out the show notes page at livingcountryinthecity.com/94. Make sure you check out the Full Draw Film Tour. Check out when the tour is going to be near you. All right, y'all. In the meantime, keep it country.
Thank y'all for listening to Living Country in the City. Get show notes and check out the blog, product reviews, events, and more at livingcountryinthecity.com.